Promised you earlier. So the rollout of the police reforms is among the key changes occasioned by the Constitution of Kenya, promulgated in August 2010. What previously existed as reports by different task forces was institutionalized to see a more professional police. It moved from a force to a service. But how much ground has been covered 10 years later? Hassan Mugambi has more.
For decades, this is the image that defined the Kenya police, a violent outfit that appeared to have been rightly called a force, routinely blamed for political persecutions, arbitrary arrest, and in some cases, extrajudicial killings. The clamor for police reforms was therefore tied to the overhaul push for a new constitutional order. And 10 years after the country gave itself a new constitution, the verdict is mixed.
The National Police Service of 10 years back is not actually the National Police Service of today.
So I think, we have a real problem with the culture of policing that still gives too much space to officers to assault people.
Reform is about doing things better than how you are doing them. I think we are more civil.
Changing does not work very well with loud condemnation because you're more fearful of what you're being criticized for as opposed to more confident of what you want to become.
A year before the 2010 Constitution was put in place, the then President Mwai Kibaki appointed retired Justice Philip Ransley to develop a roadmap for police reforms.
It is then that the police moved from a force to a service, leading to the creation of such organs as the National Police Service Commission and the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, that became entrenched in the Constitution.
Whenever police have had any excesses, whenever force has been used in a way that is not commensurate to the task, we have seen the IPOA respond as appropriate.
That authority to protect our country, to protect ourselves using force. But for a few individuals who may go beyond their limit, then they're dealt with, which we have done very well. We have a number of officers that are serving sentence in custody.
IPOA, to be honest, if we had not seen the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, I wonder where we would be today.
These reforms brought about changes in how police officers were trained. The training period initially from 9 to 15 months, in addition to 16 months for training of university graduate recruits. However, the training period was again reversed to 9 months. The man in charge of training, kitting and tooling police officers saying even that is a step in the right direction.
Before, the dominant subjects in the curriculum that was there, and I have looked at it, even the time, the hours of coverage was field crafts and drills. That took a lot of the time in the training.
A police officer is the officer of the law, and therefore a police officer must be able to understand basic law, issues to do with human rights. So they have to understand the Bill of Rights, and that has been included in our curriculum.
How you assess the need for that training, how you deliver training that transforms the police officers when they come out of it. Not textbook memory of what the principles of human rights are, but a recognition that this particular principle looks like this in real life.
The question of the independence of the Inspector General of Police has several times been put to test. Most recently, with the arrest of 3 senators, critics wondering why President Kenyatta's proposal to equip the police with an independent budget from the Interior Ministry is yet to be implemented.
The Inspector General of Police is not an accounting officer. He does not have control over the resources within the National Police Service. They are embedded within the Ministry of Interior. That, of course, automatically creates an unspoken interference.
It is an interference by the Minister of Interior to instruct the Inspector General to take any action.
The greater value in the independence is interdependence. the more you operate independently, the more you realize the need to be interdependent, especially in the sector that we are in.
With a well-trained police, one would expect restraint in how police officers maintain law and order. Cases of innocent Kenyans shot during demonstrations and brutalized even in front of cameras are still part of police image, despite the changed constitutional dispensation.
You have a similar problem in the population as you have within the police service, which is police officers deciding that a criminal needs to be executed rather than taken to court.
As opposed to where the police are way more removed from their communities, they are now very closely connected and perhaps frustrated because you're not able to resolve some of the community dynamics, and so some of those have been resolved with killing, which is unfortunate and extremely unacceptable.
Extrajudicial killings means that there's a policy by government to eliminate or kill individuals, which is not factual. But that does not mean we don't have officers who commit offenses, who commit murder, who use excessive force.
Police work entails extraordinary degrees of occupational stress. Not only do officers face the prospect of death and violence in the line of duty, their relationship with the public represent additional stressors. The question of remuneration is yet to be looked into, putting pressure on officers, especially junior ones, who are now expected to live among members of the public.
I know the only challenge that would happen is in urban areas. The cost of housing may be slightly high, and that would mean that it would push officers to live in areas that may not be very good for their securities. But when now you go to rural areas, they are home and dry, they are very happy.
Actually, last month, July, I did again sign the next circular for the fourth phase of 1.08 billion as a salary increment. When you put 1.03 and 1.08, this is already 2.1 billion that already we have given a salary increment to police officers.
The money, according to the National Police Service Commission, shared among more than 120,000 officers, translates to an additional of about 600 shillings in the salary of a police constable. With the current economic status, that, they say, is a drop in the ocean. To achieve change in mindset, according to Owino, the service also requires external support from public and civil society more than constant negative criticism. Experts, however, maintain that the change will not just come from recruits who have gone through training under the 2010 Constitution, but also through efforts to change the old guards. Hassan Mugambi, Citizen TV.